Hello guys, I thought this was a good opportunity to go a little deeper into my approach to typology, to providing a service to people who are interested in discovering more about their type or identifying what their personality type is. You probably remember that I released a video not that long ago where I said that I was now accepting consultations. So I am doing consultations at the moment on a somewhat limited basis for now. I don't accept a lot of consultations a week, but I already have started doing it. In a couple months' time, when my website goes live, where everything is integrated in one place, new articles, new sort of updates from my research, a section on my books, a section on my videos, and a section on consultations. I will probably from then onwards sort of enlarge the perimeter of my consultation work. But I just wanted to give you a bit more of a taste for what it might look like. This in part because some people have gotten in touch with me wanting to know more. They wrote to me, that in order to reach out to me, the best thing to do is to write to me at the address renaud.contini, so my first name, renaud.contini@gmail.com, renaud.contini@gmail.com. That's where you can reach out to me for consultations. People, and I thank them for that, got in touch and wanted to know a bit more. And that is only fair because after all, this is a service. It's a service with a cost, $75 or €65 per session. Sessions of 1 hour, sometimes a little bit more than 1 hour, but roughly speaking, between an hour and a half. From what I get, the feedback I get, this is very reasonable price-wise, so I'm glad to hear this. I do want to make it reasonable in the same way that I sometimes hear people say that my Patreon page is very reasonable in terms of the entry price, because the entry cost of becoming a patron is €3 a month, or roughly $3.50 or $4 a month. You can do that per year as well, and it's quite cheap. Of course you can give more, but that's kind of the standard amount. And I do want to make this accessible to everyone. I don't want to make my work as something elitist in any way, and anyone who can provide some support is already immensely helpful to me. And that my Patreon page is linked below. That's the first link, and that you get really cool perks like as part of this access to the Patreon community, like access to the whole library of deep dive videos only for patrons, as well as access to our Discord server where you can hang out with us every day. And our community is growing and it's a lot of fun. So with the consultations, the fees are what they are, $75 or €65. That's the same amount in euros or in dollars so that this is clear in your mind. It might be fairly reasonable. Of course, it's still a fee. So I most definitely expect to provide a top quality service that meets your expectations. Consultations I've done so far, the clients have been very happy and have been recommending the service to people that they know, people that they trust. So I think that is a good sign so far. And I really, even if it takes a bit of time, I want to make sure this is also kind of how I am. I need to make sure on ethical grounds that I provide a service that justifies paying that fee. So it's not the same kind of consultation that you might have done before if you're someone who has done consultation work before, or if you've been a client before, regarding your type, regarding your personality type. It's not quite the same approach. In fact, it's not the same approach at all. It's what I have now become used to calling deep typology or deep psychology, depth psychology. And it's essentially, I think, maybe the one word that distinguishes it from the other approaches, like in talking with famous people, or even with a zero psych, or even with, Joyce Meng, or with objective personality, these particular services. psychodynamic. My approach is psychodynamic. Now, psychodynamic, what does it mean? It means that it takes into account your unconscious dynamics. Why is it crucial? Because we don't show the world everything. One of the basic principles of depth psychology and psychoanalysis is that what we show the world is what we want to show the world. And there is a lot that is contained in what we don't show the world. I released a video not long ago where I said that what you conceal reveals your true personality. Of course, there is something to be found in what you show the world. The point is not to say that there's nothing to be found in what you show the world, but my consultation work does rely on trying to, have a conversation with the client where they do most of the talking. I ask questions, but they do most of the talking. And I try to bring, as the conversation progresses, I try to bring them to a higher awareness of some of those more unconscious dynamics or less consciously presented dynamics. It's up to the client to say, yeah, no, absolutely, I agree with this, and to continue building a picture together. But it is at the request of the client, and it is the client who does the work, in a sense, under my guidance. It's kind of a little bit like in psychoanalysis, and it's not just because I think that's a nice approach. It's because if the client just sits, answers questions, and by the end of the session is given a type, a suggested type by a typologist, superficially, maybe in the first few days afterwards, it's very reassuring. A figure of authority has given you your type. It's very reassuring. But look, it's not going to last. You're going to start doubting it. Inevitably, people start doubting it. And they're doubting it for the very same reason that they initially find it reassuring, because it came from outside. What came from outside initially reassures you. Over the long term, you cannot quite make it fit with your desire to be a self-defining person, to exercise your own freedom. So you have to feel like you're the one coming to the realization of what your type is. And I can only be a guide, or as Socrates used to say, a kind of midwife, a typological midwife. I will guide you through the conversation and through interpretations and insights and reformulations to get closer and closer to your own articulation of what your type is. And usually in practice, the conversations are quite fluid. We have a good time. It's not particularly intense or very difficult to follow, I think my strength resides in this ability to take on and take in a lot of information, synthesize it in real time, and provide a gentle guiding hand in the process. And by the end of the conversation, the aim is that the person herself or himself takes ownership of the type. And in that way, my strong belief is that they will no longer change their mind, because the type will have been integrated within their own inner narrative. And if it is integrated within their own narrative, which is by their own gesture, by their own work, it's going to be sustainable. And then they can start working on what it means to be that type, and what possibilities it offers, what potential limitations might have to be taken into account, what kind of world it opens up to the person now that they have acquired this particular vocabulary. Sometimes a person might already have a strong idea of their type, but want to enrich this inner world of what it might mean for them, what it might mean in general. Sometimes they will want a second opinion after an opinion was given by another typologist. Sometimes they might want to have a discussion with me about my approach in general, or depth psychology of personality in general. All of that is absolutely compatible. Okay, guys, so that's all I wanted to say in this respect. Don't forget that you can avail of my services, but that's when I launch the website, I will make something quite official, and hopefully can't wait to start working with you guys if the opportunity arises. In the meantime, take care and talk to you soon.